All right, everybody. This will be Revelations part 49, part 4. All right, so last one I was ending. I was talking about how there's been all these plans and ideologies and schemes that governments or individuals in governments and stuff have put together, and you go back over the centuries, and I'm sure find many more that I named and stuff. And then there's also religious ones that kind of um, go along with those. And so I was talking about how there's got to be stuff behind why a lot of these things are happening, and what could they possibly be trying to do. And so there was a thing that was on Netflix that I watched. It was about Japan before World War II and during World War II. And one of their ideologies or theologies is, they followed the Shinto religion, which according to this program said that the emperors or the bloodline of the emperors and stuff, that they were divinity. Their first ruler was a divine being, and his bloodline was divine, and all this, and that they were the master race, and it was their duty to cover the whole earth and take control of the whole earth. And and even during the time of World War II, if the emperor of Japan was going down the street, no one was allowed to look at him. If you're on it, they used to board up like second floor windows and stuff, because especially no one was supposed to look down upon him, because he was considered divine. And all these things, and that their forefathers had this theology that it was their duty to take control of the earth, global dominance. Dick Cheney writes a plan about global dominance. I haven't read Mein Kampf yet, so I'm going by what is generally told about Hitler, and that he wanted global dominance. And we know that they try and spread communism and socialism. They want global dominance. Lenin, Marx, Stalin, all of them. So, what's that song say? Everybody wants to rule the world. What was that? The Beatles? Revolution? There's another one, a more mellow song by a more modern band. Everyone wants to rule the world. I'm sure there's plenty of songs about that. But anyway, so these people who follow these things, and they're in places of power, the think tanks and all that are in Washington, and the Council of Foreign Relations, and all these types of groups and things like this. Even Kennedy gave a speech about the spreading of democracy and this and that and everything. It's our forefathers never said it was our mission to make every nation on the earth like us, or to dominate the earth. Not that I'm aware of, anyway. Maybe I missed something somewhere. I don't think George Washington was interested in dominating the earth. I think he said stay out of Europe's wars and stuff. But anyway, England even has that, that the throne of England is the seat of Christianity. Even Winston Churchill talked about that Hitler had to be stopped because he was threatened to end, the Christian throne of England. The coronation of the rulers of England is just a Protestant version of how the Pope is coronated. And the crown has crosses and stuff and everything in it. And and that goes back to King James when he had his version of the Bible written. In the foreword, in the front of it, it talks about how the king is divine. The royal bloodline is divine. So it goes against that's another thing that our forefathers in this country rebelled against. For all you people think they're just a bunch of dumb cracker slave owners. That's why it says all men are created equal in our founding documents. Because it was a affront to England and the King James theology that the royals were divine, were somehow above other men, and an affront to any other kind of racial supremacy or national supremacy. Who knows? Maybe even to the Jews who consider all other races goyim animals. Maybe it was an affront to them too. I don't know. I'll have to read some more. But that was one of the reasons they were confronting that theology. And if you don't know, the Pilgrims who came to this country first to escape religious persecution, it was to escape King James and his Bible and his Church of England and their heliocentric scientific teaching that King James had implanted in all the schools and all the churches. Demanded it. You had the Pilgrims and the Puritans who came. The Pilgrims wanted nothing to do with King James Church of England or the King James Bible. They didn't carry the King James Bible. It's really funny and ironic now. You see all them thumping that King James Bible. You gotta have that King James version. That's not what the Pilgrims who came to this country carried. Anyway, and the Puritans were they wanted to reform the Church of England. They were, they weren't total separatists like the Pilgrims were. And the Pilgrims had to escape and go to other countries and in Dutch countries and things like that, and to escape King James and them before they could come here and to get away from him. So that's kind of ironic these days. You see people thumping that King James Bible. This is what you need. Well, so anyway, that's why it's in our founding documents. All men are created equal, and that you're given the freedom of religion. That the state could not force its religion on you. That's what King James was doing. And his successors after him were doing. King George and the Church of England. They could not force their brand of religion on you. That's why you have freedom of religion in this country. It's because our forefathers, them dumb redneck crackers you think they are, dumb slave owners you think they are, were combating oppression of the Church of England and other nation states like it, who said, you're going to belong to the church that we dictate what can be said and taught and stuff. They've been through all that. They'd seen it all happen in Europe. They've seen the wars it caused and all those kinds of things. They said, you know what, our country, we're not going to allow the state to try and tell you what your religion can be. That's your own personal, private right to choose your path, to worship God. We're not going to mandate that you go to the Church of England or any other church. We're not going to mandate that you have to be a Christian. We're not going to mandate that you have to be anything. You understand? So, you liberals on the left and who want to demonize the founding fathers of this country, and you don't have a clue. Ain't none of you, very few of you, of the people who follow you, have ever read the Constitution or Declaration of Independence or anything about the founding of this country, because you've so ingrained it into African Americans, youth, and you know, this ain't your country. This is Whitey's country. You know, your forefathers were forced here and stuff. You know, and slavery and everything else. You know, that's their history. It's not your history. But it's how the country works and how the country is founded. And you know, there's a lot of good things about it in there. And here you are, you're telling all this youth that they've got no stake. You're telling them that, you know, hey, you don't need to know nothing about this country. You got no stake in this country. Yada yada yada. Just a bunch of slave owners founded this country, and then, you know, you got no future. You got no nothing. And so what's a kid gonna do? If he tries to show interest and say, hey, you know, it's all right, and he's got the whole community against him. No, it ain't. You know, this is all done for them, not for you. You can't partake in the system. You can't partake in the country. No, that's all set up for them. That's you know, that's white privilege. What do you think happens when you drum that into a young African American's head their whole lives? Tell you, you know, people are brainwashed left and right all the time about many things in life. Sometimes it's well meant and everything, but it's misplaced. So you know, that's you know, what I wanted to point out about, you know, these different doctrines and stuff, and whether they're religious or man-made theologies, ideologies, and stuff. You know, even though that person might not be in power, there's other people who've taken the reins. You know, look, Marx and Lenin, you know, died and stuff, but there were people who picked up and carried on after them. And there's people who've picked up after Dick Cheney and George Bush and the plan for the new American century, and who are carrying that on. There are people who've picked up the Yinan plan over in Israel, and they're carrying that on. Whether, you know, so there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes, You're not going to see in the media. You're not going to be able to try and figure out a lot of it because it's so well hidden and they got so much other stuff mixed up out there and stuff. But there's definitely agendas being carried out. Have no doubt about it. And also, I wanted to point out, and I'll point it out, how because I'm going to recap the one part of this I did about some personal things and child support and stuff. One of them I did, and I'm going to point this out, this fact about kind of ties in to what's going on with that. But a lot of these agendas and stuff in these groups, witchcraft is being used. Have no doubt about it. And have no doubt about it if you are Muslim or a Muslim nation, that they are definitely using witchcraft against you also. You need to pray to Allah for His protection from the witchcraft. Because it does exist, you know, from the stories of the Jews and being in Babylon, who were so enamored with you know, the way they were involved in witchcraft and the wealth they had and all this and everything like that. And we all wanted to learn it too. So Allah sent the angels to test them. And then, you know, He didn't do it backhandedly. The angels had to tell the Jews, this is a test from your Maker. You know, and if you choose to, you want this stuff and everything, like, you're going to pay the price. So don't forget your Maker. Don't learn this stuff. But many of them wanted to, and so you still have the Kabbalism and all this other stuff. You know, people try and use this stuff for their paths to success. Hey, and it's not always, you know, apparent that people are using this. They're not going to bring it out. It could be your next door neighbor who seems straight as everything, and you know, seems, you know, like a normal, decent human being. And they'll even tell you, people who practice that, well, I'm just normal, and everything, decent and everything, you know, and all, and you know, I'm practicing white magic or good magic. There ain't no such thing. Witchcraft is banned by your Creator. And in the Quran it says those who traffic in it are doomed to go to hell. So get out of it if you're in it. But, you know, I've been in bookstores at the mall, you know, and stuff, and even in some upscale neighborhoods and stuff, and you know, there's a woman in maybe her 30s or whatever, got like a 10, 12-year-old daughter with her, picking up a book on witchcraft. Now, I'm not talking about a kid's book. I'm talking about a book that clearly says it is a book of, you know, connotations and stuff. This stuff is practiced. And I'm not what was it? It's not only, you know, just practiced by like these individuals and stuff. I'm sure governments are into it. I'm sure the intelligence agencies, you know, and these groups that are all tied to these liberal causes and stuff, all these entertainers and stuff out in California and other places in the world. And I'm sure all these sex perverts like that Epstein guy and stuff and everything, I'm sure they're into it too. Control, manipulation, power, all that, I'm sure they use it all for that. I'm sure the homosexuals and these extreme environmental groups, you know, I'm talking the extreme tree huggers and stuff like this. are involved. Because what's that one group? They get naked and go sit in the woods in circles and stuff and everything like that. But they openly practice it. It's a known thing. I mean, you look at all these performers, these musicians and stuff, and everyone's got a different color band on and all these things, and you know, and you look at why does are people of faith losing battles against all these evil things and stuff? It's because the people on the evil side, no matter how wrong and crazy whatever their ideas are, get these judges and stuff to follow them and stuff. I have no doubt they're using witchcraft. And the people of faith are losing because they're not turning to their creator and asking for protection from the witchcraft. You need to ask Allah. There are prayers you can say and ask for protection from the witchcraft and from the jinn and from Satan. You can ask him for his protection, petition him and ask him to help against these people who practice these things. And you need to do it. I'm not kidding you. This stuff is being used in this world, and you can read the book of Revelations, where it says when all the plagues and calamities and stuff, one of the things that mankind won't give up is their sorceries, their witchcraft, and they won't turn to their maker and ask him for help and worship him and have him stop all these things, these calamities from happening. But mankind is going to bring all those things upon themselves. And you people out there who practice this witchcraft and stuff are part of the reason. Global warming, it's all fossil fuels and all that shit. No. Part of the reason why global warming, when you read the book of Revelations, global warming does exist. You might be one of these hard line right-wing people, and your preachers even, no, global warming, that's... Read the book of Revelations. And the sun burned men's skins. The trees are burned. The grass is burned. I know a lot of you talk about, well, that's nuclear war and this. Part of that might be. But then again, guess what? If it says the sun burned men's skins, guess what it's going to do to the trees and the grass? That's global warming, if anything. And those things are going to come on this earth whenever they come. Because of the actions of man. And I'm not talking about just, the burning of fossil fuels. You need to look at the things that are listed, why these things are going to happen, the list that's in the book of Revelations. Men would not give up this. Men would not give up that. It goes through the list. Their blasphemies, their murders, their adulteries, the fornications, all these things are listed. They're thefts. Which you got to look at Wall Street and the banking, not just your normal common thief. You got to look at, the big time thievery too. The politicians. So there's global dominance and all this and everything is to make you a debt slave. They can have total power over it. They want total power over your medical, over everything. And it's not just the left. I'm sorry. You people on the right. If you think those Republicans aren't lockstep in a lot of this stuff, you're very gullible. You've been manipulated and brainwashed too. And Trump says he's going to drain the swamp and, do away with a lot of these things and stuff. And you got to hope. But then again, you can see he's got the Space Force going and all this. And part of Dick Cheney's plan is total dominance, even of space. Some people, well, we need that because if we don't have that, somebody else is going to get that. Really? Just like they're telling you Russia's going to get Europe too if we're not there. It's a load of hooey. It's big business keeping our military over there. Lots of people getting rich off of us keeping our military over there. Oh, but that Donald Trump, he was wrong for bringing that up and talking about, you know, what are we doing there? Why are we paying all this money? They have their own armies and everything. They're more than well, and their economies are doing good. They're more than well and able to take care of themselves. You know, the only time you're going to hear their leaders scream about us wanting to leave theirs when the corporations tug on their coattails and say, hey, we're going to lose money. You better make it not seem like not a good idea for America to leave here. We're going to lose money. Same thing with foreign aid. Mexico gets $180 million a year in foreign aid. Why? And it goes to Catholic charities. Why? Well, it's supposed to help keep the flood of immigration for, you know. Well, why don't Mexico have its own welfare program? Minimum wage. Why aren't these liberals riding Mexico and the leaders of Mexico? You know, why is it this nation being put under the microscope and being made to seem like the bad guy for saying, hey, we need to control our border. Sorry, we need the jobs in America for Americans. You know, lefties out west and everything. Hey, the grape growers need illegals. The agriculture in California, Texas, need illegals. Do all that farming. You could have all the convicts in prison do it, but that would be cruel and unusual punishment. There's some other kind of crap. Them convicts, they don't got to work. They get to sit in prison and get 3 squares, get free legal counsel, free medical, dental, even free transsexual now, free transsexual operations, whatever you call them. You, the average citizen, if you have anything to do with the court system, getting permits for something, getting your child support stopped, whatever it is, you're the one that gets to pay through the nose. Have to pay for your own lawyers and stuff. Criminal, he gets free lawyers. Free lawyers. Free food, free medical. You're the honest person, tax-paying American out here, and you're the one the courts treat like shit. You got to pay all these document fees. You got to pay all this, all kinds of stuff. Yep. Pay for your lawyer. They put too many hoops in front of you to jump through. You get to pay for the lawyer too. Let them deal with it. You're going to pay through the nose for that. That's why they're not going to change the system. You know, make it so complicated, make so many hoops that they got to get a lawyer to do it. So, anyway, my battery's dying here. I want to cut this one short, but you can be sure witchcraft is being used by these groups in a lot of ways to move their agendas along. And you need to pray to your Creator for protection from that. You want to start winning the battles, you need to turn to Allah. Turn to Allah and seek His help and His guidance. And pray for His protection against witchcraft. And I know it's been used against me. I just know it has. And that's one of the things, in one of the last videos I did, you know, I told you, when you choose the right path, it's in the Gospel of Barnabas. Jesus talks about how Satan, it angers him greatly, and he's going to come after you he'll have his legions come after you because you rebelled against him and his world here. So, and part of what he's going to use, he'll use anything against you, but he'll use people who use witchcraft against you. And they will do spells and stuff if you're against, you know, the things that they're involved in and stuff and everything like that. they're going to use that witchcraft. They're going to count you as an enemy, and hey, we're going to put spells on them. And it's not just, it's not just something in these, Jamaica, the Bahamas, and all that and everything, voodoo, and down in Louisiana stuff, and it's in Hollywood, it's in places of political power. I'm sure the intelligence agencies are into it. Hollywood, definite manipulation, music. It is out there, and they will use it against you if you're a person of faith. So you need to turn to your Creator. And it's going to be more prevalent as time goes on and the lunacy and the chaos goes on. You need the scriptures, the Gospel of Barnabas, the Book of Enoch, and definitely the Quran, and you need to pray to your Creator for help and protection against these things. Don't let any Muslim be fooled. You need protection from the witchcraft. I'm telling you. Because they're using it against you. Alright, remember, there's no greater thing that you can say than Allah Akbar, and that there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his prophet. May peace be upon him and his family and his followers, and upon the families and the followers of all the prophets and servants of Allah. Alright, take care out there. Peace. Pray for protection against witchcraft, not only for yourself. Pray for me, that I can have protection from the witchcraft, and for other Muslims can have protection from the witchcraft, and your nations. Pray for one another, asking for that protection. Alright, take care out there. Peace, and Allah Akbar.